Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our movie club. Today we are continuing with Maze Runner Trilogy. Or it's Trilogy. How you pronounce it?
Trilogy.
Trilogy. It's Maze Runner Trilogy. Today is number 2. Maze Runner, the Scorch Trials. As T.Lee explained it to me, so trials mean just tests, and Scorch is a kind of a desert, right? After a big fire, big bonfire, or I don't know, bombing something. Speaking of military analogy, so with Scorch is just a desert, a land where there is nothing, only sand, I don't know, dirt and ashes and some sticks, right?
There's actually a military warfare policy called Scorched Earth policy.
Yeah.
And that's when, as they advance into the enemy territory, they burn everything so that there's no food source. So if they later have to retreat and the enemy takes the land back, they can't use it for food or there's nothing there. So it's a scorch is a commonly used word for destruction by heat, by fire. Yeah.
So you call it Scorch strategy, right?
Scorched Earth policy.
Scorch Earth policy. Okay. I remember we did it once with Napoleon in two centuries ago. One Russian military guy, he decided to burn our own land. So when Napoleon invaded, he cannot find anything. So it was just a scorched field. Okay, so we decided that we are going to read again because I don't know, because it's kind of fun too. So we can do it in a slow pace. We can stop. We can ask questions. So no rush here. Okay, let's start. And we can read by 2 paragraphs if it's comfortable. You can stop early if you want.
Let me mention just at the end of the last movie, at the end of the first movie, they had escaped the maze. They had gotten into a laboratory control room area. All the scientists had been killed by rebels, and they were basically rescued by the rebels and taken away in helicopters.
Yeah.
And that's where this movie starts.
Okay. So rescue is kind of different from escape, right? Escape is when you did it by yourself, or not?
Well, they escaped, but then the rebels came with helicopters.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's an escape and then a subsequent rescue. Otherwise, they'd be out in the desert with nowhere to go.
Yep.
So the helicopters rescued them. So apparently the rebels were waiting outside. I don't know. Yeah.
So, Vova, could you please start reading aloud? And if you have problem, just ask.
Yes. The opening scene shows hundreds of people crowded around a
quarantined
area. A young Thomas is brought by his mother to be taken away for protection on board a train. She tells him she loves him and they never see each other again. On the train, Thomas meets
Doctor
Ava Page.
Eva Page, I guess.
Ava Page. In the present, Thomas and the rest of the gliders. Newt, Teresa, Minho, Raven, and Winston are brought to the desolated city following their escape from the maze. Once they descend a horde of infected people.
Cranks. They call it the cranks. Like a slang name, I guess.
Start running towards them, but the mercenary soldiers
escorting them. To escort someone, it means to accompany him. So they go together.
Escorting them, fight them out. They take the gliders into a facility run by Jason. He says this Police will provide the greatest with shelter, food, clothes, and protection for the flare.
The flare, another mystic thing. Okay, so what can you choose some words you don't understand, so we can explain them? Do you know the word a horde?
No.
It's a massive amount of something, like a horde of, I don't know. What could be an example? Jar, do you have an example of a horde?
Or zombies.
So many of them. You cannot see the end of them, right? The horde.
And horde usually implies they're disorganized or potentially violent.
So they are not like squared platoons of military. They're just in house, right? They are each by themselves.
Right. Yeah. Kind of like a mob, a huge mob. Yeah.
What about desolated?
Yes.
It looks like isolated for me, so it means that it's separate from the circle, from the others. Am I right, teacher? Desolated. So
Which
separate.
word?
Desolated.
Desolated
Yes.
city.
Desolate. Desolated means barren, barren and empty. For example, a desert is a desolate place. There's no people there. There's no buildings there. There's nothing there but just weeds and a few cactus. So desolate means it's empty and barren of anything useful. So ruins are a desolate place. There's nothing there.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually the same crew, right? We know all of them, Minho, Newt, and others. The only new guy so far is like military guys and Jensen, right? He's
Now, if you watch Game of Thrones, you should recognize the actor that plays Jansen. Jansen was Littlefinger in the Game of Thrones. A bad guy, so he likes to play bad guys apparently.
Okay, what is the flare? Another mystic thing. You know?
Maybe.
I think that's what they call the virus, right? Some virus wiped out or made everyone turn into cranks. So they call it the flare.
I think because of the sun.
Because of the sun?
Yes.
Okay, let's continue. Gerard, Vasanth, hello. We are reading synopsis, so be prepared. Next turn is yours. Gerard, could you please continue?
Thomas joins Minho and the other boys in a cafeteria. They see other groups of people their age, meaning they weren't the only ones that survived a maze. Frypan points out one boy, Aris, who has been in a maze the longest, and in one with mostly girls. Jansen then walks in and calls on the names of several people for what is supposedly a relocation. Teresa's name is called and she joins the others as they walk out. That night, Eris gets Thomas out of bed and guides him through the vents to show him the room where a number of bodies are wheeled into a room for tests and research. Thomas starts to think they are doing something bad with Teresa.
I would support Thomas truly. If someone, will my friend, I don't think it's something good, right? It's always something bad. Okay, so Jared, why do you think Americans like to travel with vans?
I don't know. I was surprised how big are those bands and they can support such big weight.
Probably it's a myth, right? So it's in the movies, but in real life, if you go to the vent, you will be crushed to the floor.
Yes, you fall down.
But it's some like easy way for a movie to be like everywhere you want, right? So doors are not a problem anymore. Okay, so the next day, right? Vasanth, could you please read this? If you want to, during the reading, if you want to, ask question or something, please. So we are not in rush. Vasanth, and you're muted.
Okay. The next day, another group of people are called out. Thomas gets into a brief scuffle with a guard to steal his ID badge. That night, He and his friends sneak out of their rooms to find Teresa and the others. Thomas encounters them all hung up to a mechanism of sorts, and all of them are unconscious. Thomas then walks into a room where he sees Jansen talking to Eva through a projection. He has been running tests to see who is immune to the flare, and he mentions trying to find a group called the Right Arm and their grounds called Safe Haven. Thomas realizes John Jensen works for the World in Catastrophe Kill Zone Department.
Yeah.
Thomas,
Now
okay.
the name for Wicked, right? So just an acronym. World in Catastrophe Kill Zone Department. Looks not natural, I would say.
Dumb name.
Need more one paragraph. Okay. So what is a scuffle, Vasanth? You know, a brief scuffle with a guard.
Yeah, to hold his collar and have a fight.
A row, right? A small fight. I
Yeah,
guess.
small.
Yeah, we call it row. When it means fight, we call it row.
Oh, okay. So is there's anything special to choose a word scuffle, Teacher Lee? When we choose it?
Scuffle is a small fight. It's not a. It's like a minor fight. It's not very, no damage. Nobody's hurt really bad. And it lasts very briefly,
Okay.
like a pushing contest between two kids. Push, push, push. That's a little scuffle.
I see. So what else is there? So he learning how to break the system with ID badge. I wonder why the security guy did not realize that ID badge is stolen, right? Because he need to open the doors, I guess, at the end of the day.
I know.
Okay, let me read. Thomas gathers Newt, Minho, Frypan, Winston, and Aris and tries to find Teresa so they can escape. They come across a MERS, so it's a
Merc.
merc. It's acronym for mercenary, I guess. Like a
Correct, but because the C's at the end, we call it merc. Yeah.
Okay, merc, who aims his stun gun at them. Stun gun, interesting name. So guns that don't kill you but paralyze you, right? It's another name. Taser, right? Usually in America.
Yep. Taser. Yep.
Okay. Until Minho drop kicks him into a wall. So Minho likes running, right?
Yeah.
Thomas grabs a gun and gets a doctor to take them to Teresa. They grab her and head out to the exit. Jensen and some other mercs try to stop them, saying they won't last long out there in the Scorch. Thomas fends them off, and barely makes it out with the others. So fends them off. It's another phrasal verb I don't know. Fends.
That means defend. Like this comes from defend. If you fend them off, you push them away.
I see. So fence, defense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, could you please read the next one?
Now on the outside in a vast desert, the gliders
Venture?
venture toward the mountains to find the right arm. They come across an abandoned building and discover the place has fallen. But when they turn, Thomas and Vico are attacked and chased by some cranks. The chase escalates when the cranks and mercs run into each other. As they find an exit, Winston holds them off with a gun, but one of cranks attacks him and
Scratches.
scratches.
Him.
The others pull him out.
Okay. Well, do you know what does mean scratch? Scratch. So we know some, I don't know, people has nails, right? Nails. You can scratch someone's body with a nail, or with a, I don't know, with a knife, probably with something sharp. Right? Scratch. Okay. What else here? Venture toward. What does it mean? They use a car? No. So venture just travel or.
Yeah, if you look in the chat area, I'm typing some notes for you. Venture means to explore with an element of risk. Adventure, right? Adventure has thrill or excitement. So if you venture somewhere, you're exploring, you're going there, but there's an unknown element of risk.
Usually, I know you always make a perfect chat for us. I always put it in YouTube area as well to a comment section. But when I share the screen, I cannot read them. Sorry, so that's why I'm asking. Probably.
Oh, is that right? Okay, that's odd. All right.
Probably maybe I asking that you already answered the things you already answered.
Okay.
Well, what about escalate?
Yeah, I was just going to mention, if you've ever heard the term venture capital,
it's
that
kind
is
of risky capital, risky investments, right?
correct. That's an investment that has risk involved. So we call it venture capital.
I see. Kind of.
Yep.
Make
Yep.
it. I see.
Yep. All right.
Okay. What about escalate? So escalate, it's meant to make like a new level of conflict, I guess. So I don't know, a job. Let's say someone give me a job. I cannot make it, so I go to my boss and I escalate my job to him. I probably it is. Usually, does it work? My explanation.
Yeah. To escalate means to go to a higher level, literally or figuratively. In a mall, the moving steps we call escalators.
Yeah. Exactly.
In your subway, you've got escalators, the moving steps where you stand there and you go way down. Yep.
But we call them elevator somehow, like a lift.
Okay, yeah. In English, they're different. One's a box that goes vertical. Escalators are steps that go diagonally, at an angle.
Let me try to make another example with escalate. So, for instance, we started a fight with a bare hand, and then I bring the knife or a rifle, so I escalate the fight. Right? It's now another level.
Yep. And help desks, IT service desks, they escalate from tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3. Yeah.
Until they find someone who can read, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue. Gerard, could you please? The gliders.
Okay. The gliders continue walking through the mounds of sand as day breaks. Winston collapses as he is being infected and it's spreading rapidly through his body. He only wants to be put out of his misery and not transformed into a crank. Frypan takes out again, which Newt takes from him and hands to Winston. Winston says his goodbyes to his friends and they leave him. On their walk, they all hear a single gunshot. As the others rest for the night, Thomas spots a civilization in the distance. When the gang keeps moving, a massive lightning storm starts brewing. Powerful bolts strike down, hitting Minho but not fatally. His friends grab him and they run into another building. There, they find dozens of chain cranks. Out of the shadows comes Brenda, who lives there with a group of survivors. She guides the gliders to her leader, surrogate father figure, Jorge. He notices the tattoos on the backs of the gliders' necks, realizing they came from a wicked facility and that they are valuable. Jorge also learns they are looking for the right arm.
Well, I recognize this guy, Giancarlo Esposito. He was in my favorite series, Breaking Bad. Yeah. So what does mean day breaks? Sure.
Day breaks, I think the day starts?
Yeah, daybreak is dawn.
Dawn?
So the end of the day, I guess. Right?
Then, okay.
No, daybreak is morning.
morning.
Okay,
It breaks open.
I see.
Yeah.
The beginning of the end. It's open.
Yeah. Sometimes we say the break of day or at daybreak.
So what about storm starts brewing? I don't know how to pronounce it. Brewing.
Brew, you know, brew, right? We brew coffee.
Yeah.
And we brew, a brewery makes beer.
Yeah.
So brew means to boil or cook something in a hot pot. So figuratively, it can mean to develop. Instead of being cooked, it's developing.
Okay.
So a storm is developing, kind of like you would brew a cup of coffee. It takes a little time for it to get hotter and hotter and boil and drip down through the coffee grounds, but finally it's finished. So brewing is like it develops slowly.
Oh, yeah. It was my question. So it's kind of give us a sense that it's not a instant process. It's kind of slow, long process.
Right, like making a cup of coffee. It takes a few minutes to complete. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? What about surrogate? Jacques, do you know this word? Surrogate father.
Surrogate. Like it's not a real father that has the function of a father.
Yeah, it means substitute here.
Yeah.
I'll teach you a tip about ATE words when they're verbs. We pronounce the ATE as 8. Estimate, approximate, graduate. But when it's an adjective or a noun, the A is not stressed and becomes a U, ut. So surrogate, surrogate father, surrogate mother.
Surrogate.
In real life, some women can't have a baby, so they will pay someone to be a surrogate mother, and the husband will impregnate the surrogate mother, who's just a outside person. They'll get pregnant, have the baby, and then give it to the family that can't have a baby. So we call those surrogate mothers. They act as a birth mother, but then when they give up the baby, they have no further claim to the baby. Yeah.
Okay, let's continue. Vasanth, who do you
Soon, a band of wicked mercs, led by Jensen, storms the place. Thomas runs away with Brenda, separating himself from the other gliders. George plays a song that triggers a series of explosives when it finishes. The facility collapses and kills the mercs. Thomas and Brenda run toward an exit as they are pursued by cranks. They run outside into a collapsed building. Brenda slips and nearly falls through a window. A crank emerges and attacks her, but Thomas breaks the glass and causes the crank to fall out while he pulls Brenda up.
You can continue if you want.
Okay. The two head on to find the others and come across a nightclub of sorts, run by another survivor, Marcus. He knows something about the right arm, but he doesn't tell Thomas and Brenda of his identity, and instead gives them a drink for them to get in the feel of the party. Thomas trips out a bit and Brenda approaches him. They move into kiss, but Thomas only sees himself kissing Teresa. He tells Brenda she isn't Teresa, leaving her disappointed.
Strange thing,
I didn't understand this nightclub scene at all. It made no sense to me. It added nothing to the movie.
So, but it was about drugs, right? They drank something and they changed their mind, I guess. Okay, I was about. So there was a melody, a music that created these blasts, explosives, right? Can you recognize this music or something common?
No.
Okay. So
That is-
it was familiar, seems like, but I couldn't recognize it. Okay, so probably just a favorite melody of this guy. Strange idea again. So, but it's to create like vivid picture, I guess, for us.
So when the heroes were rescued at the end of the first movie, they thought those were the rebels, but they turned out to be wicked also, and it was just another trial that they had to go through.
Mhm.
So the right arm, this is the real rebels that they're trying to find somewhere out in the desert. Okay.
Okay, let me read a bit. After experiencing trippy visions, Thomas wakes up to find Teresa and Minho sitting over him. He and Brenda are back with George and the Gliders, and Thomas finds George beating Marcus' face in. Beating in, what does it mean? Just beating in the face?
Yeah.
After a few good punches, Marcus tells the gang where they can find the right arm. The group takes Marcus' car and drives by a mountain with many abandoned cars. When they get out, gunshots are fired at them. George hands Thomas a bomb to use as a distraction, I guess. To use a distraction. But they are cornered by two family shooters, Harriet and Sonia. They recognize Aris and decided the group poses no threat to them. So poses no threat, it means they not a threat for them, right? Poses like show no threat. Okay, anything else? Sitting over him. Abandoned cars. Oh, do you know what does mean abandoned?
No.
It means that someone throw it away, right? Abandoned. So
Yep.
you can see just a skeleton of the car somewhere in the desert because it does not belong to anyone.
Left to die. Left to die. Okay. The
Yes.
right arm, you've heard of a right hand man, right?
Mhm.
Your right hand man is someone that helps you a lot and you depend on them.
Consigliere, executive officer.
Yeah, lieutenant, whatever. The right arm kind of has the same meaning. It's a metaphor. You can say, this guy is my right arm. That means he does everything for me. So I really depend on him. So the right arm means a very dependable, reliable, trustworthy person that helps you in everything you do.
Mhm, mhm.
So it has kind of a good connotation in a way, you know.
I can understand, yeah. But does it belong to our story, to our plot? He's a good guy for whom? For our gliders, right?
That doesn't make sense. The right arm of who? You know, you're the bad guys. Wicked's the good guys. I mean, there's nobody else. Those are the two players. So yeah, a little bit. It's a detached right arm. Belongs to nobody. Yeah. I guess the meaning is it's powerful. Wham!
I see.
Wham! The right arm of God will smite you.
Smite to the ashes, right? It's a phrasal verb, right? Smite.
That's probably what they mean. The right arm of God. Yeah.
Oh, can you read the next one? The ladies.
The ladies guide the group to meet the rest of the right arm, including the leader Vince. Brenda collapses as she been bitten by a crank, but her infection hasn't spread as quickly as with Winston. Vince nearly shoots her until he stopped by a former wicked scientist named Mary Cooper.
Mhm.
She
Reveals.
that Thomas was an informant to share information on all of
Wicked act.
Vic's act.
Mhm.
She gives Brenda an
Enzyme.
enzyme
Mhm.
shot to stop the infection from spreading.
Okay, a lot of things there. So what is spread? Mhm. So virus spread, so sometimes we can say what spread else. Oil spot in ocean spreads very fast, right? What else? Spread, it means, you had something small and then it start to grow and start to like occupy a lot of territory, like COVID, It was in China, then spread all over the world. Okay, what else? Informant. What is an informant?
Informant.
A guy, yes, a guy like
Spy.
informant, yeah, spy, right?
That no.
That gives you information about something you need, right? So there was another word for this, insight or something like
A
this.
snitch?
Insider, snitch,
Yeah.
rat, mole. Mole. I think mole is more. Yeah, mole. A lot of slang words for those guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what about collapses? Brenda collapses.
I don't know.
So, for instance, building collapsed. Building, so there was a big building, then something bad happened, let's say earthquake, and building collapsed. So just, I don't know, run on to the earth.
She passed out in this case. Yeah.
Yes, Brenda lost her conscience, then pass out and fall onto the earth.
So this scientist Mary knew Thomas,
Mhm.
knew that he was a spy in Wicked, and he told the right arm all the locations of all the Wicked mazes around the area. So that's how they knew where to go rescue. Well, they didn't do any rescues, but they bombed the facilities of Wicked and tried to slow them down, damage them, whatever.
Mhm.
So she was able to take some of Thomas's healthy blood because he was immune. So
Mhm.
she said, I can't save Brenda, but I can take some of your blood and take out an enzyme in your blood, and we can use that to put into Brenda to slow down the infection. So they did that. So Brenda was saved temporarily, but Mary thought that she would keep getting worse and Thomas would have to keep injecting the serum into her to keep her from changing into a crank.
Mhm.
But later we learn that Brenda never changed into a crank after this one time.
Mhm.
So that's why Teresa eventually learned, Thomas, you are the cure. What coincidence?
You are a working vaccine for this virus, right?
That's right.
Okay, Gerard, could you please?
Thomas sits by Brenda's bedside. She mentions losing her mom to the flare. Thomas pulls out the small totem given to him by Chuck, as he remembers the boy's sacrifice. That night, Thomas talks with Teresa. She says that she watched her mom go mad from the flare, and she didn't want to give up on the rest of the infected, which is why she's been working for Wicked the whole time. Wicked helicopters are seen heading toward the mountains, as Teresa called them and told them where they are. Thomas runs to warn everyone, only for the choppers to start firing missiles at the people. The mercs descend and start attacking people. Thomas departs from Jorge and Brenda to save his friends. Ava and Jane and Jansen step out, confirming that Teresa has been with Wicked from the beginning. Jansen shoots and kills Mary, and he nearly kills again until Jorge drives in on a van, leading to a battle between Wicked, Mercs, and the right arm. Jansen nearly kills Thomas until Brenda shoots him in the shoulder. Thomas uses Jorge's bomb on a group of mercs. Minho gets shot with a stun gun and is taken by the mercs. Ava, Teresa, and Jansen escape with Minho as Thomas helplessly watches the craft take off.
Yeah. So some description of action part. What is totem, Gerard? A small.
It's like a statue or a small
Small
thing
statue or figurine,
that means something.
Mhm.
usually religious in nature sometimes.
It can bring luck, right, or something. So some people believe that it's my totem, and that's why I'm invisible. For instance, you cannot do
Yeah.
anything until
Yeah,
it's.
Yeah, protection or good luck, usually a magical item. Yeah.
Okay, craft takes off. Take off. What is craft?
The helicopter in this case was this helicopter take off.
Yeah, short for aircraft. Yeah.
Okay, what else? What about the chopper? The choppers. The choppers to start firing missile
It's a helicopter.
again, right?
Chop the air.
Slang for helicopter. Yeah.
Chop. Probably
chop.
because of this. How we call
Sometimes we call them egg beaters.
it.
Egg beaters. Yeah.
Get to the chopper.
Yeah.
Vasanth, can you read the last one?
Yes. In the morning, the survivors seem to have lost hope. Thomas gathers what he can carry and decides he is going back to infiltrate Wicked, rescue Minho, and kill Eva. Although Vince thinks he's crazy, Harriet agrees that she wouldn't mind some revenge. Now everyone looks to Thomas as they prepare to take Wicked down.
Be continued.
We continue.
So he's one single guy with no resources, but he's going to go back and take on Wicked and rescue his friend. Wow. He don't know where they are. He got no vehicle to travel.
I like the wording that Harriet agrees that she would not mind some revenge. You know, it's like, okay, I allow you. Go there and kill them all. Okay, no problem.
So she joins him, in other words. Yeah.
Okay, good one. So, what do you think about the movie in general, Gerard?
I think the first one was better. Much better.
It's a common joke, right? That franchise, the sequel is always.
Not always. You know, Terminator 2 is better than Terminator 1.
Yeah.
Because of Liquid Robot, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah, the part I didn't quite understand was when Wicked took them to their lab and took them one group at a time and strung them up like cattle to bleed their enzyme out of their bodies. Were they just using, I mean, that wasn't a cure, so I guess they were just using that enzyme for their own people that were affected to keep them from changing into cranks. Is that what they were doing?
Produce some medication. Maybe they sell it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but they weren't really working on a cure. It didn't seem like they were just sucking like a vampire, bleeding the immune people dry to keep themselves healthy.
Yeah.
And
if you think about it, this medicine, it's very what's the word for this? Very expensive, right? You need to select this guy. You need to, I don't know, he can die at any moment. You need to bring it, and I don't know, a lot of efforts to make enzyme.
And the idea of putting these people in a maze to monitor their heart rate and all this junk to see why they're immune. It seems like after all those years and all those mazes, they never discovered why these people were immune. And they went through the maze trials really for no gain. I mean, they didn't learn anything in all those years. And then I guess the idea was that fear makes you generate more enzyme, but it can't go anywhere, so you can only make so much, So when they got to this new lab facility, I guess they just bled what enzyme they could from everybody until they died or ran out, and then they just threw away and used new people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
let's see. You know, we know that nothing goes well forever, right? So eventually something will go wrong, right? So, for instance, some hardware failure or something, and they are all going to die because they don't have a way to reproduce it from the scratch. So strange idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maze runner, Vasanth. What does mean at the bottom? It's a virus.
Yeah, the creatures in the tunnel, we saw in the tunnel.
Looks like a neural network or something.
Yeah.
Mutation. Yeah,
Yeah.
mutation.
Very good, very good. And maze runner on the top is like kind of a maze, right? Kind of a labyrinth or something. Very
Yeah.
good. Okay, let's start with this one. Lola, could you please start? What is this? Let's start.
I don't recognize.
Well, it's kind of a jail, I would say. It's kind of a laboratory where they put children. So, okay, who you can see there?
A lot of people.
So looks like a canteen to me because there are food, chair, table, and I guess they use this ladder. It's a ladder, right? Actually,
Step ladder. Yeah, the ladder, step ladder.
step ladder to get into the vents, I guess. So like this. It's our heroes, Minho, Newt, every one of them, right? I can see the lady on the behind. They're sitting on kind of improvised sofa. It's made from some bags with some food, I guess with flour or something, how we call it. Flour, right? Flour. We make it for making bread. Sugar, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
Everything is metal and I would say damage proof. Damage proof it.
Yeah.
It's like a jail to me. If you ask me what is this, it's a prison.
Yep, you got support columns, metal utility shelves that are adjustable.
Yep.
As you said, an eating area, some trash on the floor, dirty looking place.
Yeah.
Fluorescent lights.
Okay. Another one. Gerard, could you please?
We can see a doctor with the big rings. And is that like Newt? Newt?
Yeah, that's Newt. Yep.
Newt. So he wants to inject. I remember he wanted to inject in some vitamins and some minerals.
Probably he was lying, right? You'd ask it, what is this? Just vitamins. I would not believe.
Yeah.
And we could see probes with a red substance like blood. I don't know whether that is blood.
On the left here.
A refrigerator behind Newt with drugs and bottles of water or some experimental containers, laboratory containers. I don't know the name of them.
Maybe jars.
Bottles. Yeah, it's hard as flasks. When it's kind of triangle shaped, we call those flasks.
Flasks. Okay.
Flasks have a triangular bottom.
So Newt is very obedient guy, right? I would not like some injection from a guy like this, you know. Just sit here, take this injection.
Well, you know, they kind of rescued you. You think they're your friend, but they're kind of being treated like prisoners. You know, stay in this room. No, you can't go past this door. No, you can't go out. You know, I would have become very suspicious. Like, why are you treating me like a prisoner if you've rescued me? You know, why am I not being shown your operation and treated like one of you? You know, I didn't like that at all.
Now, one question. The accent of Newt looks like British or Australian. What do you think, Teacher Lee?
I'm thinking maybe Australian. Yeah, he's a strange individual. As Yvonne mentioned, he's very malleable, very easygoing.
Yeah.
You want me to do that? Okay. You want to do that? Okay. You know, I'll be your right hand man. I'll do. You know, yeah, he was a good guy, but yeah, he seemed kind of I don't know.
On doctor's chest, we can see some kind of device. Looks like could be a phone, I don't know, communicator, or maybe some test device.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Again, how we called canteen, right? Canteen.
Cantina's Spanish. We would call it a cafeteria.
Cafeteria. Okay, thank you. Cafeteria. Okay, let's find another one with many details. I guess this one. Vasanth, could you please?
This is where they're hanging all the kids or the teenagers to get I don't know to get immune
To get the blood for them, drip by drip, so it's like from by small portions, right? By small portions.
Okay, a lot of wires attached to their body and nothing. There look like trolleys and containers, everything. Closed room and some yellow lines. I don't know what is that for. And red lines under the red circles under the hanging bodies.
So, do you think they are alive or dead? What do you think?
Yeah, alive. I believe alive.
Yeah, they're alive because they're using these guys kind of like chickens to lay eggs or cows to produce milk. So they're kept unconscious, and these tubes just slowly drain off their enzyme from their bodies as their bodies produce it. They slowly suck it off. My question is, why are they hanging in the air? And why so many tubes? You know, I mean, you could put them in a bed horizontally.
So
And all these tubes going to the head, you just need one or two tubes, you know, it's kind of hokey to me.
Another question, why they have the usual casual clothes? So my experience from hospital, they put like special clothes on you, right? To prevent you from contamination or something, I don't know. Okay, but it looks spooky, right? So when you see this, you say, oh my God, I don't want to be there. So maybe.
I think that's why they did it, to make it look really spooky. Yeah. Oh my God, I feel so sorry for those people hanging there like a piece of fruit on a tree.
And it is spooky, yeah. Right, if you have time for one more, could you? Gerard, can you make another one?
Okay. This is Thomas with a stun gun. So it's shooting. She shot a merc and he paralyzed him.
Well, what I like in this slide, I like the writing. So we can read. You see, incubation. So and cell culture. So cell culture. So they like raising something, incubating something, right? Do you know cell? So cell, it's a kind of a small living body, right? We are all created from cells.
Yeah.
So cell culture, probably it's I don't know, it's a living tissue or something.
Yeah, laboratories usually grow cells in little round dishes. We call them petri dishes. And those grow cell cultures, little colonies of cells to multiply.
And then incubation. Do you know what is incubation? Vasanth, do you know what is incubator is?
Yes, it's to hatch eggs. And also they use incubators for children, toddlers. Not toddlers, I think babies, to get them away from all the infection and get them.
Yeah.
Yep. When in a hospital, when a baby's born, they have a room with incubators, little glass bubbles kind of, and they put the baby inside there, and it keeps the baby warm and provides light, and it just helps keep the body healthy so the baby doesn't get cold. So to incubate really means to keep an egg warm until it hatches.
Nice word, hatches. So
the chicken sits on the egg. The chicken's the incubator.
Yeah. But what they incubating in they, I don't know, wicked, I don't know, probably this vaccination, how we call it, I don't know, what the...
Well, it may be that those people hanging, maybe they're calling that state incubation.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
But I think that he saw a creatures, bunch of creatures in containers. Maybe they incubate those.
Okay, yeah. If they had fetuses, yeah. I didn't know what that was. That was weird looking.
Okay, the another one, Scorch area, right?
Yep.
Let me try. So we can see a desert and some kind of what we call it? I don't know, debris or skeletons.
Looks like a car wreckage.
Wreckage.
Wrecked car. We can see some concrete with rebar coming out of it.
It's how we call it, rebar, right?
Yeah.
Metal things to make it harder, right?
Yep, and they're bent. Yeah.
And this guy, he was like hit or beaten by a crank, and he's going to commit suicide, right? He say, "Give me a gun and go away."
Now, see, this is stupid. What I would have done, I would have said, "Close your eyes," and I would have shot him in the head. You leave your only weapon with this guy. So what good's it going to do him after he kills himself? Now you've got no weapon to protect yourself. Stupid to me.
Very stupid. Very coward.
Okay. So he, the Newt has his sleeves shorts, right? What was the word for this? He kind of scalded, or
we call him rolled up. He's rolled up his sleeves.
Rolled up his sleeves, but I would do the opposite because of the sun. I would make them long.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he has a bandage on his right hand.
Yeah. That's all, I guess. Okay, let's make another one. Gerard, can you?
Okay. The lightnings. There's a very a strong storm with vertical lightnings aiming to the ground, and they are running to this facility like it looks like a big factory. The gliders are running.
Yeah.
And hit one of them. I don't remember his name. He was hit and he was injured, but they eventually took him, two of them, and put inside of the factory.
Yeah, so there was a word brewing. Do you remember in synopsis? Brewing the lightning storm or something. So it's the end of the brewing, I guess. We have
brewing. Yeah, yeah. Brewing's complete. Yeah,
we have it now. Okay, and
I must leave. Sorry.
Yes, thank you, Gerard.
See you later, Gerard.
See you later.
Okay. Oh, do you remember why they are taking like this?
Because I don't remember his name.
Right arm? No, his? No. Okay.
He want to know some information from Thomas.
Well, I remember that he understood that they are very important, right? Because they have a tattoo or something, some kind of chip that shows that they are from the wicked. So he said, "Wow, they are important. I'm going to hold them for, I don't know for what, for ransom, for what."
Yeah, I think they were going to sell them back to wicked.
Yeah. So just you are very precious now.
Yeah, they're just a product, a commodity.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that struck me funny about this picture, okay, is they won't talk, right? So you remember he lowers them a little bit, like there's something deadly underneath them to kind of threaten them. But then later, when Teresa comes, what does she do? She lowers them and lets them get free. Yeah. So that dropping them down a little bit to threaten them, it had no meaning.
Yeah. So there are no crocodiles on the top, right? On the floor.
Yeah.
No lava or something.
Yeah.
Okay, let me find the final one. something, you know. We remember this one. Okay. What about this one? Vasanth, could you please?
Yeah, this is where he's threatening Ava and her crew with a. It looks like a hand grenade, some sort of grenade. That he would blow it and everyone will die. But they hesitated that they need him and rest of the team members because they have the immunity, I believe. And you can see the soldiers with are mercenaries with a helmet. I don't know how would they see through that helmet.
I know, at nighttime too, yeah.
Yeah.
Good question.
Okay.
And they have some lamps or diodes on the right side. So 3 lamps. I don't know what does it mean. Your rank or what? I am okay. I'm not
I know.
damaged.
Their
Maybe
life
night-
bar, like in a computer game, that's their life bar.
I have not hit already. I have not hit.
I noticed this woman, right? She's the #1 person, the most important person in the whole, bray here, and she's wearing all white, like she stands out like a white ball in pool in billiards, the cue ball. Like, I'm the most important person here. Shoot me, attack me, blow me up, Come on. And wearing white gloves, so I don't want to get dirty in this nasty place,
A white angel, right? A white angel.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, enough of this. Now I can see a chat. a lot of things to read. Okay, thank you very much for coming. I'm not sure that we should have like third movie as a source. What do you think?
It's up to you.
Okay, let's choose something else. I remember that teacher Lee suggested another second part of Aliens, right?
Yeah, Aliens was actually the best movie of that series.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the first movie, I can give you a quick synopsis. The first movie didn't really have a lot of action in it, but the second movie is a continuation of the first movie, and the second movie is excellent.
Okay.
So I think you'll really enjoy the second movie. I mean, it's space marines hunting down aliens, and
I remember there was some machine, some kind of, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Get away from her, you bitch! You've probably seen that scene before.
Okay, let's choose this one. It's pretty interesting.
But it's a great movie. Yeah, you'll enjoy that.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. Vasanth, thank you very much for slides. I still thinking we should make a gallery, from your titles, I don't know where, on YouTube channel or something. So I'm still thinking of it because it's really good. Teacher Lee, thank you as always for your support. It's unbelievable good for us.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
thank you.
everyone. Bye, Vasanth.